jumped out of the plane. But what's next? Before you understand what goes up inside the plane, do you understand what happens on the ground? But because that's where your journey starts. When you reach the drop zone, you see how the drop zone functions, what the landing area looks like, what are the wind conditions on that day, if you are allowed to jump with the present situation, how does the manifestation work, do instructors have some instructions for you to follow for that drop zone, what will the landing pattern be? I know I'm getting a little too technical about it. Let's take it slowly, let's get this started. When you're on ground, you've seen the drop zone. Do you see the wind? Yes. If it's stable, you will be allowed to jump. Before you've done your 200 jumps, you'll be doing mainly belly jumps and free fly jumps. So you got to decide what you're going to do. You have to understand what your exit order is going to look like according to your jump. You have to understand what canopy you're using and what will be your wing load. That means how much is the capacity of your parachute according to the weight, and what will be your control systems, and with which parachute have you jumped with last. Those are the details which will determine today's current jump. And once you've understood these things, you've understood what your landing pattern is going to look like. What I mean by landing pattern is how you're going to touch the ground once you've left the flight, reached at a certain height, when you've opened your parachute and decided to come down. It is one of the most critical things. I'm not going to get into very technical details in this video. I'm going to keep it fun, but going to keep it informative as well. When you reach the drop zone, according to the number of skydives you have and your experience, are you going to decide for yourself what jump are you going to do. Like I mentioned before, it mostly is going to be a belly or a free fly, and then you have to see if you're going to do it solo or you're going to do it in a group. So according to that, you're going to be placed inside the plane. Usually the order is belly jumpers, free flyers, tandem jumpers and wingsuiters. Then depends on the size of the group. That's how you'll be placed in the plane. And once you've decided everything on ground, you're comfortable with every condition around you, with the drop zone staff, with your belonging skydivers that are there in the plane, and with your gear and every other technical detail that needs to be taken care of. You are off towards your plane, which could be a little far off, so sometimes there are cars which take you there. Sometimes you can just walk to the place where you'll board the plane from. You are getting closer to get to the door. When you've boarded your plane, there is a mandatory rule that you fist bump whoever you can. The good vibes are already started. You sit inside, place yourself, you're wearing your seatbelts till 1500 feet. That's the altitude when you will take your seat belts off and you're ready for the jump. Your flight is going to take about 10 to 20 minutes depending on what flight it is to get up to 13,000 feet. That's the altitude with which all skydivers usually jump. Depending on the altitude of the region, is the altitude of the plane decided. Like for example, Skydive Thailand takes you about 12,000 feet because it's already at altitude. So that's what you get. I mean, you get a little bit of a less time to jump if it's 13,000 and you open your parachute at about 5,500 or below. You should get about 55 seconds jump time. That's what you get once you're out of the plane before you open your canopy. Oh, we're jumping a few steps. We were in the plane, we were seated, we've gone up in the sky. It's almost about time. There is an orange blinking light near the door which indicates we open the shutters for the jump. The green light indicates the skydivers can jump. There is a particular gap you have to maintain according to the speed of the plane before each skydiver jumps. So the jumps are started now. And if you're doing your jump according to the exit order, it's your turn to be at the door, and here we are. The final steps for the skydive to begin. We're at the door. We see our partners if we have them, or we are set alone solo. The indication which all the skydivers use all around the world is either with one hand, two hands, or the head. It's out, in and out, and once you do that, you're off, started with a skydive. You're there, you have your 55 seconds. Usually you have a dive flow ready in your head what you're going to do in the sky, if you're going to practice it solo or do it in a group. There are various jumps you can do once you're in the sky. There are you can do a barrel roll, you can do 360s. If it's a docking 360, there is a base as in one person will be stable in the sky and other skydivers come and catch that one person and form a group. It's insane when you achieve all of these things. Usually to get better in sky, there is something called as a wind tunnel that you can practice on ground again, and which imitates the falling experience during a skydive, so that your maneuvers in the sky become a lot better, and you are able to do the things other skydivers can, and that just becomes so fun. Free flyers on the other hand just do like a shake hand or are very close to each other, very close proximity, and do the skydive together. But all in all, I have not been able to jump with free flyer friends of mine because I am not that experienced. I am on 178 number of jumps, and a lot more to go. Very close to my 200 jumps, where I'll get a camera on me and I can record other people who are jumping with me. Also, hopefully can become a cameraman, although there's not a lot of money when you become a cameraman, and that's like the first job you can have after doing so many skydives and spending so much money on gear, on the jump tickets, on your accommodation and everything you have to pay for, all the licenses you have to pay for. This is the first job you can land yourself in, and what a job to have. I mean, yes, but I don't think it's a lot of money, because each skydiver would want to do their jumps in the most cheapest way possible. So yes, after that comes tandem skydivers. More money than a cameraman when you're doing tandem jumps. That's what we are going to come to next. You can become a tandem instructor, tandem coach, tandem person there to go jump with people. After your 500 jumps, you have to do a few exams with a more qualified trainer, and you can actually go jump with people. But before that, are we jumping a little far away? Before that, you can also become a wingsuiter after 200 jumps. Yes, but you again gotta spend time in wind tunnel. There are different wind tunnels for learning wingsuiting. You also have to spend the money to get your wingsuit made. That is an additional cost that you'll have to bear, and then you can fly like a bird in the sky. What better than that? So yes, we're almost there, getting this video to an end. I have spoken about belly jumpers, free flyers, wingsuiters, tandem jumpers. These are usually the people that are involved in a plane while skydiving, and what a fun experience this is. But yes, everything is decided on ground, everything is planned on ground. You have a lot of training done on ground, and that's what makes things comfortable in the air. Not to forget, we got to be safe, so there are a lot of safety parameters to keep in mind, which I haven't spoken about, which is a very vast topic and can be a video of its own. I haven't gone into the depths of safety of skydiving and how you have to be safe in sky. Yes, but too many aspects of it. In short, you gotta have understanding what's going on around you. If you're not disturbing anybody else, if your canopy opens far off from other skydivers, you give other skydivers space to jump before you, and you don't jump too soon. These are the few things that you have to keep in mind before you go for your skydive, and so that you are safe and the people around you are safe. It by no means is like a guide or something that you can see and try and do it in the sky. There's hours of training that happens on ground. There's a ground schooling that you have to do according to the USPA course, which takes about a day's time. And then there's a tandem jump. Then there are instructors who explain you how things go around with the gear, with the drop zone, how manifestation works. Manifestation is you write your name on the list, and that's what allows you to board the plane for the skydive. So there are too many technical details for you to know before you can actually go skydive. But this is just a short summary, a fun one, which tells you like how you can actually feel when you once jump out of the plane, and what goes in a skydiver's head before he touches the ground again. A little bit of technical details before we go away. Knowing the landing pattern is one of the most critical and the intimate and the most important details that you need to know before you skydive. Landing pattern depends on the wind condition and where the drop zone is located, and how do they expect you to come down so that everybody can come down safely. There are usually 2 turns that you got to take before you land on ground. You are in your holding area. You start falling down from about 1000 to 800 feet. You take your first turn at about 600 feet or so, 600 to 400 feet. Then your last turn at about 300 to 200 feet. No turning after 200 feet at all, because when you turn your canopy, you go down very fast. So that's the last turn that you take, and you want to come down at a point that you have decided from your flight itself where you want to land. Obviously you've seen the landing area, and you decide to come at that spot. Yes, that's what sums it up, a skydiver's mind once he's out of the plane. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, share and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.